It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting. You can check me out at emailrevealer.com. You can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. If you like our show, sure check out our Patreon, Opperman Report Patreon, live show every Friday night on Spreaker.com. And there's a chat room. Get an email notification when we put up new content, play repeats every night. And chat room, email notifications. And a live show Friday nights, every Friday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Eastern Standard Time. What coast is he on? Let's track him down. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. And today is 8/25/23. 8/25/23. Hey, let's see. How are we going to do this? Okay, got a lot of good stuff coming up. Tomorrow I'm taping with a fellow from the Billy Myers. Remember Billy Myers, that fellow he claimed he was the bodyguard for the Shah of Iran. He sold those UFOs. Anyway, look, I got his spokesman tomorrow. I'm going to tape with him. Find out what's going on with that. This is what I've reduced to. This is what I'm stooping down to. Got a big surprise guest I'm taping with this week. You're going to flip out when you find out who it is. I can't say who it is till we have him in the can because there's way too much sabotage going on around here at the little old Opperman Report. Now, who cares what Ed has to say? Taping tomorrow with a reporter about Project Veritas. And who's that guy? James O'Keefe. He's got all the backroom stories and all that shenanigans and what's going on over there at the James O'Keefe. What? Wait, what? Coming up after this, we have J.J. Vance. We had him on talking about the Idaho 4. We talk a bit about the Idaho 4, but then we're going to be talking about Indian mounds. Okay, they got those Indian mounds all over Florida and all over the Midwest and places like that. Supposedly there's giants buried underneath them. Who the hell knows? Actually, who really knows? They dug those things up a long time, and you can't dig them up anymore. Very difficult to examine those things. Who really knows? But we'll be talking to him later on this evening, J.J. Vance. We also get into the Idaho 4 a bit. Then another fellow at the Celtic Boys Club over there. This guy has a podcast on the Twitter. Let me see if I can find it real quickly. CELT. Case Against the Celtic Boys Club podcast. Mr. Henderson. And we have him coming on later on. Before we get into our show tonight, we're going to get into a little musical break here. A little Dead Boys coming at you.
some come doom. Things will be different there. The sun will rise from here. Then I'll be 10 feet tall, and you'll be nothing at all. Yeah, I got my down machine. I got my electronic drive. Sound producer, ain't no loser. Got my sound producer, I ain't no loser. I say my sound producer, sound producer. Yeah, my sound producer, sound producer, sound producer.
All right, some Dead Boys coming at you there. WKCAA. Anyway, 1977, 1978, New York City, Bowery and Bleecker Street, CBGB's, and young Ed Opperman strutting up and down those streets like I own the freaking place, man. Okay? There's nothing like it, man. You know, there was no other time growing up that you could have than to be in New York City, 1978, 1979, in the 80s, you know, the whole... what a time, you know. And I was a young guy, I was a healthy guy, and I was an activist in the streets of New York City. And we thought we could do it. You know, the Cuban Revolution was 1959, so it was like barely 20 years later. And we saw things going on, the Sandinistas in El Salvador, with Grenada. There were real revolutionary activities and actions going on that you could watch on the news, hijackings, all kinds of stuff, jailbreaks, prison breaks. You know, back then, you know, if you were involved in revolutionary activity, your comrades would come and bust you out of prison. You know, so there was, even if you got caught, there was hope. Or they would hijack a plane and get you out. So we thought we could do it. We thought we could bring about social revolution, economic justice to the people of the world, not just the United States, not just New York City, but the United States. It was young, it was hopeful, it was a hopeful time. We thought we could do this, you know, with our marijuana, you know, sales and our smuggling activities and raise money that way. And, you know, if we had to, you know, you could raise money in other ways too. And just physically train your body and get out there and train physically, thinking that we could one day fight a fair fight and bring about victory to our brothers and sisters living in squalor and poverty and police oppression, government oppression. We thought, you know, and to look back at those kind of times, when you look back in those days, you know, you didn't even have like a picture on your driver's license, you know. When you had a bank account, you had a bank book. You know, you didn't have it was before debit cards, you know, before you could put things were digitally, money was digital, you know. You had to write a check. You can go into a bank with a bank book. You know, it was so much easier. If your things got too hot, you could go underground and disappear. All that's gone now. All that's gone, you know, and never giving up the spirit, the hope that we could somehow overcome this oppression we live in. And I thought 10 years ago, it'll be 10 years in September, I started doing this radio show. And I thought, you know, having been a student of revolution, been a student of Che Guevara, I've read the Handbook of Guerrilla Warfare, that we could use the weapons that we have to capture the weapons of our oppression, and we use them against them. That's the theory. And when I saw this stuff, internet radio and even radio and, you know, media, whatever media we could capture, and we could use it for good, we could use it for revolution, we could use it for social change, we could use it for economic justice, we could use it to shed light on people that are being shot down in the street. Bumper Stewart Brigade. You know, there were things happening. So when I started doing this show, one of the first things I wanted to do, and I've said it 100 times. I said it before every interview. I had read the Mad Cow Morning News website, and I'd read the books by Daniel Hopsicker, who had done some incredible research into the 9/11 hijackers. And so when I had an opportunity to do a radio show, I said, these are the kind of people I want to shine a light on. I want the world to know about this man's work and this man's efforts and this man's investigative reporting. Not just him, you know. I brought on Ramona Africa from Move. That, you know, if you don't, the family that was burned alive, and 600 homes are burned alive in Philadelphia. You know, and Dave McGowan. Well, we can go down that list. But before every time I would interview Daniel Hopsicker, I would say, this is a man that deserves a Pulitzer Prize. And I got into doing this to shed light on people like this. And not like this, him, you know, right there, coming on the show. And when I did the first interview with Daniel Hopsicker, he had done one radio interview, and he was very upset about it. He didn't like it at all because it was like a right-wing storable food, you know, end of the world, Armageddon coming kind of thing, and he didn't like that at all. And when I had him come on, he had only done one YouTube. There was only one YouTube video with Daniel Hopsicker. He had done a presentation with the 9/11 group, and he wasn't happy with that either. And thank God when he came on the show, he was happy, you know, and he was so kind and respectful to me that day on. He's not that much older than me, like 10 years older than me, but he had been in the broadcast journalism for, you know, way longer than me. I've only been doing this 10 years. Prior to that, I'd written some articles, and right prior to that, I'd written a book, and then I had been doing radio back in New York City in the 70s, back in New York City, WBAI, but that was behind the scenes, little voiceover stuff, and nothing like I've devoted my life to now. But he was always so kind and appreciative and respectful to me. And we lost Daniel Hopsicker this week. And it's a huge loss. And we're going to be doing it tonight. I'm going to be playing after the two regularly scheduled shows, I'm going to be playing a repeat of the very last interview I did with Daniel Hopsicker from hospice. He was in hospice. You know, the second half of the show, he talks about how he's in hospice and he's on medication. He said he felt better than he had in years. He wasn't in pain. He was getting a lot of writing done. And I thought, maybe he thought he'd be around a couple of years. And I thought he'd be around a couple of years. He sounded great. Because, both of us, me and Daniel, we're old guys, been around a long time. Sometimes, we'd schedule an interview. It's too early in the morning. Hey, I'm hungover. I don't know about you. I'm hungover too. Let's do it. Let's shoot for tomorrow. That happened more than once, but, like any man who've lived long, hard lives. So the last interview, like I said, he was in hospice, and we knew he had stage 4 cancer. We knew that things weren't that great for him, and there were problems.